Alright, this is going to be the tier list for the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind for these standard classes. I'm using the artwork from Oblivion because I think it's higher quality and I like it more. A class in Morrowind comes with your 5 major skills, 5 minor skills, your 2 attributes that are favored, which each get plus 10, and your specialization, which I'll talk about more when we get there, but that's either combat, stealth, or magic. Our first class is the Acrobat. The Acrobat obviously has acrobatics. They also have athletics, marksman, sneak, and unarmored. For their major skills get a bonus 25 to start. That means the lowest a major skill can start at is 30 because your skills all start at 5. You might have a racial modifier plus 15 and a specialization modifier plus 5, so the most any skill can start with the Morrowind is 50. Minor skills start with a plus 10 bonus, and your miscellaneous skills start whatever at what they started at. These also get an experience modifier. Major skills increase 33% faster than minor skills, and miscellaneous skills get a 0.8 modifier, so they actually level very slowly. If you choose something as your specialization, it gets a 25% increase to its experience gain, meaning major skills within your specialization will level at a 66% increase. And if I compared a major skill within my specialization to a miscellaneous skill out of it, this would be the multiplier. It's gaining more than twice as much experience. Same as Oblivion, these are similar numbers, but it's not just the initial bonus that matters. They actually level significantly faster as well. With that said, I do not like this mix of skills personally. Marksman and Sneak are not fun in Morrowind in my opinion. The starting arrows weigh 0.1, and if Marksman is your primary source of dealing damage, it's just, you go through so many, it's a pain. You're going to have to find them and buy them a lot. And unlike Oblivion, the arrows that you carry in Morrowind are going to slow you down. They count to your encumbrance, so if you're carrying 300 arrows, that's 30 pounds added to your encumbrance like you're wearing a heavy chest armor, even though you're trying to be this lightweight, unarmored, light armor acrobat. In fact, the better arrows like Glass, Ebony, and Daedric weigh even more than that, and Daedric arrows are really rare. You're just not going to find a lot in this game. Now, it's not terrible. It does scale off your strength, not your agility. And with this bonus starting to agility, endurance, you'll have a little bit of higher health to start, and you'll be able to hit more because of the agility. It's not terrible. For minor skills, Spear is a nice way to back up your marksman if something gets near you. Hand to hand is kind of a wasted slot. Having 2 armor skills is actually pretty good. Unarmored, though, to combine with light armor just seems a little weird. Like either you're going to wear armor or not, where normally you find good light armor and good medium armor maybe, so you mix and match them. And so it's not terrible to have both the skills. But with this mix and match, it's like, what, I'm going to wear like a couple light armor pieces and then nothing? It just seems silly. A lot of wasted skills, a lot of missed potential. With the stealth specialization too, your spear is going to level slowly, but at least your marksman will level quickly in your hand-to-hand and light armor. It's just a conventional stealth archer. And because I really don't like stealth archers, I'm going to put this in C. I think you could argue this is B tier if you really enjoy stealth archer. It's just, you're a weirdo if you do. Sorry. Okay, next we have the agent. Instead of marksman, now we have shortblade. Now this is leaning heavily into stealth specialization. The attributes at worst because we lost endurance and gained personality. That's kind of embarrassing. But shortblade with light armor and block, you have a full build now. Acrobatics is plenty to move around quickly. You can jump. Speechcraft can be useful. Mercantile is pretty good. The reason this is, I think, better than the Acrobat is the Conjuration. Conjuration is so powerful in Morrowind because you can create a Daedric Dagger right away. It's going to cost 6 magicka for a full minute, and that Daedric Dagger also has an enchantment of plus 10 shortblade skill, so you're not going to miss a lot just conjuring that dagger. I think starting with only 5 skills in Acrobat, you'll actually struggle to cast that spell. Just putting it as a minor skill, though, should be enough to make that really easy to cast consistently. In fact, just to show you, at 5 skill, I have a 20% chance to cast that spell, but at 15, I have a 45, almost halfway there to get there, which means I could just cast it twice to reliably get that dagger. And after I gain a few points in willpower and a few more points in conjuration, we'll pretty reliably get the bound dagger. But if it's just a miscellaneous skill, 25%, it might take 4 casts, and that's 24 magicka, and sometimes it's going to cost 5 or 6 casts to get a single successful one. It's going to be a pain to level up at all. There's going to be so many failures, you're just not going to want to rely on it. With all that said, I'm going to put the agent at the C tier as well, just like the Acrobat, but I believe the agent is better than the Acrobat in my opinion, just because they have Conjuration, and that's a lot of fun. Block can be really good too, but neither of these are great. The Archer. The Archer is really funny to me because they're like the warrior, but they also want them to have marksman. It's like a warrior archer. They have agility and strength, marksman, longblade, and spear. That's 3 weapon skills. That's a lot. As well as unarmored, light armor, and medium armor. It's 3 different armor skills, 3 different weapon skills. They're all about being able to use different things. And with the skill progression system in Morrowind, you don't really want to be using a whole bunch of different things. However, with trainers, it's not really a big deal. You can get everything up that you want, and combining marksman with a weapon skill isn't so bad. So if you're using a bow and you're using a long blade, so you use a bow to kill those annoying cliff racers and everything else you pretty much use a long blade to deal with. Maybe you only have to carry 50, 60 arrows because it's not your primary source of damage. And just these 5 major skills together, they function really great as a character. Athletics makes you move faster, long blade's great for killing things. You can block, and light armor is probably the best armor skill. You also have medium armor and unarmored just in case. As minor skills, if maybe you find a really good medium armor piece, you can throw it on and not feel like an idiot because it's only at 5 skill. And with that combat specialization, these 3 right here, long blade, block, and athletics, are going to be pretty high and leveling pretty quickly. You're just like a warrior. You're not really any worse because you don't have the axe or blunt skill, but you also have this marksman skill to back it up. With that said, there's just not a lot of great cohesion with the archer. It's either you want to be a stealth archer or you want to be a great warrior, and it's better to pick one, to be honest. And so, like everything, this is going in the C tier. We might have everything in the C tier. We'll find out soon. Next, we have the Assassin. They start with speed and intelligence, also stealth specialization. This is another stealth archer, but they get to back it up with short blade. And what I like about the Assassin is that they have the stealth specialization and all 5 of their major skills line up as stealth. So not only are they a stealth archer, but they're also relying on light armor, not unarmored like the stupid Acrobat. And they have short blade to back it up, unlike the archer who's using a stealth and a combat specialization thing here. Alchemy is a great way to just boost their skills. If you don't have any alteration securities, you're going to be using it, so you might as well. I don't really see the point of long blade here. I think that's kind of stupid. You're an archer, and you should use your short blade as your primary weapon. Marksman, while they're at range, they get you whip out your quick weapon and finish them off. Block and athletics go great with this build. It's just really this long blade is stupid, and security kind of sucks, and you know me about stealth archers, I don't like them. But because it's a cohesive class that all functions together, I'm going to put this in the B tier. Now, I think it's the worst version of a cohesive class. I don't like stealth archers in Morrowind. I've said that a lot, but there's a lot more cohesion and sense here. It makes sense to me, this build. Plus, I think an assassin would be really fun to roleplay as, where an agent, like you're not James Bond, an acrobat, you're just going to jump around, and an archer, like what? But an assassin, that could be fun to roleplay as, in my opinion. So as an assassin, your stealth archer skill isn't terrible. You can one-shot mud crabs. I picked an orc, Garona. Orcs move fast and have berserks. That's really all it is. I should have picked a male orc because they're heavier because they move faster, but for RP reasons, we got a female orc here. While marksman isn't great, you can kill enemies from really far away. If I get low on arrows, I do still have the long blade skill. 15's not bad, but it's also not great. Unlike later games, shifting between your 2 weapons is instant, so I can go from killing rats with my bow to instantly switching to my sword without any delay, especially if you hotkey it. And if I want to go back to the bow, there's no delay there. However, again, do you really like marksman? I don't know if I believe you if you say you do, but whatever. Okay, now that this guy's here, so what I could do is I could rely on my bow to kill him. That's going to take a long time and a lot of my arrows. So, of course, as an orc, I have berserk. I can whip out my sword, and now I will never miss. And with my arrows, I should have 100 attack, so now they should also always hit. Now, it doesn't do great damage. Bows can do okay damage late game when you have a lot of strength, but early game, it's pretty weak. However, I'm fast enough. If I don't want to fight him, I don't have to. And, oh, well, I let him get to me. As an orc, that's a problem with berserk. But it doesn't matter if you're marksman. So that's why this marksman can actually be pretty good as an orc with berserk, because you can just never get hit and keep hitting enemies, because it gives you 100 attack, which is a 100% hit chance. So that's what I mean by a cohesive character. It's not that this is a perfect character, but it is a build that you can do, and it functions pretty well together. Next, we have the Todd Howard class, the Barbarian. Combat, strength, and speed. He wants to run fast, run up in his light armor. At most, he's wearing medium armor, but you're definitely not wearing heavy armor in this guy. You have light armor and unarmored. You want to be fast. Athletics is a major skill, and speed's a specialized attribute. You can pick this with the steed sign 2 and an orc, and you just run up really fast. That's the fastest race you could pick. Or maybe you pick a red guard, but I think this goes better as an orc. You know, you're that crazed orc. Axe is a major skill. You can use blunt weapons if you find a good one. Again, this is using marksman as that backup weapon if you want to just like get those darn cliff racers down and hit them before they get to you. Armorer sucks ass, but what are you going to do? Whatever. It'll at least gain you levels when you repair your gear. Acrobatics is nice to make you move even faster. So really that acrobatics and athletics is great to get you up in the fray. And then you have these 5 combat skills that are going to level fast. You could use a one-handed axe, tear them apart, or a two-handed one, doesn't matter. Obviously block's a major skill. So it's encouraging you to use a shield, which I think is dumb for a barbarian. Because Morrowind has the most interesting magic system there is, this is going to be a boring class. However, if you just want to be a warrior, there's nothing wrong with picking this one. Just like the assassin, it's going to go right next to the assassin. I couldn't really say which one's better. This is just great as I want to be a warrior, I want to run fast, and I want to kill people. That's it. Okay, moving on to the Bard. The Bard is kind of a master of nothing, a jack of all trades. A weakness here, your only armor skill is medium armor, which is not that common, so you'll have to like train up either light or heavy, or just find a good medium set, which can be a little difficult. Speechcraft as a major, it's still just not good enough to make a big difference, and the stealth specialization is only good for your speechcraft, acrobatics, security, and mercantile. You're not using short blade, you're not using light armor, you're not using marksman, so that stealth specialization is really a waste. Alchemy and enchant are absurdly powerful like always, but you don't really need them as major skills. Illusion is a pretty solid minor skill. It gives it that little bump at the beginning so you can use it. But illusion's one of those things that doesn't level naturally. You're not spamming spells like you would be with destruction or conjuration or spamming an attack like with longblade. So illusion is something you have to intentionally level. Some people like that as a minor skill, some people don't. I think overall, just because of the bad specialization, the weird attributes that don't really match the rest of the class, there's just no cohesion with this bard. Like, what's the intelligence for? Your alchemy and enchant? Having extra magicka is only going to help you with illusion, which again, you can usually cast illusion spells while you're in town, while you're able to find a bed and rest and charm people. Or maybe you're trying to go invisible, but you don't have the sneak skill. I just don't like the bard. I think they're kind of girly and lame. And because of that, they're going to go in D tier. Realistically, if I was being objective, I'd put them in C tier, but this is my tier list, so obviously my opinion's going to factor in. But if you don't care about my opinion at all, probably a C tier. Somewhere in the C tier would be more reasonable, but my bias is too strong. So Bard is D tier. Next, we have the Battlemage. They have some of the coolest art, and conceptually, I think Battlemages are really, really cool. You're using magic, and you're killing people. None of this sneaking around, being a girly girl. You take out your axe, you chop off their head, you blow off their head with a fireball. It's awesome. Every game needs Battlemages. It makes me want to put them in S tier right away. Well, let's look at the class. We have Intelligence to cast more spells and Strength to do more damage, Conjuration to summon an axe, Axe is a major skill, and Destruction to help kill them. You have the two powerful crafting skills as minors. You'll start with a summon, a weak shield spell, a decent fire spell. You'll want to buy Frostbite from Satanine right away in case you get attacked by that Dark Brotherhood Assassin. Part of my rankings of these is also how well can they deal with that Dark Brotherhood Assassin at level 1. If you don't have a good weapon skill or a good powerful way to deal with that, it can be actually kind of frustrating. Now this specialization is magic, so the axe is kind of supplementary, the axe and heavy armor. However, heavy armor provides the most defense. All of these things function really well together. Now, one problem is that the only way to level your intelligence outside of your major and minor skills is security. Now, it's not a big deal. You can just go to a trainer and train up some security if you want to get a +5. And for willpower, well, the only one that you don't have as a major or minor is restoration. So again, you can go to a trainer and level up restoration if you want to gain a level with willpower. So never mind, that's not even actually a problem. Looking at all of this, this is a fully functional good class. All of these major skills work together. You summon an axe, you summon something to back you up, you fight with your axe, you wear heavy armor. Alteration is a utility skill like levitate, water walking, and destruction is a way to just spend your mana in combat to finish people off or to nuke them before they get to you and then finish them off with your axe. Then the minor skills are also supplementary. We have some utility from enchant and alchemy. Mysticism is great for getting recall quickly and being able to cast it actually. The only wasted skill here, I think, is Longblade and Marksman. Because you have Destruction, you don't really need the range for Marksman. You're not going to want to carry around an axe and a bow and arrows while you're wearing heavy armor. It's just too much weight, so I think Marksman's a bad choice to put in the minor here. And Longblade, Longblade's great, but you have axe as a major. Why would you use your different weapon skill as a minor skill? Like, you wouldn't ever want to switch to a Longblade because it's going to be so much lower in skill. It's just going to be a pain, and you'll be losing out on where you could be gaining axe skill. So these two are kind of a waste, but everything else goes really well together. Because of that, combined with their cool factor, Battlemage is definitely going to A. Not quite S tier. I don't know if anything will make it to S tier, but Battlemage is very cool. I highly recommend playing a Battlemage. If you're looking for some RP flavor, Battlemage is one of my favorite. You don't have to be one of these lame guys hopping up on a ledge with a bow. Okay, next we have the Crusader. The remastered actually did the art better than this. So here's the original art where he's like falling over or scared or something, and in the remaster he looks like a badass. But I gotta be consistent. Okay, back to Morrowind. This Crusader's just a beefy badass. He's got blunt or long blade, doesn't matter. Hand-to-hand's the only waste here I see. Oh, and armor, that's kind of dumb too. But everything else is great, functions great together. Just like a battle mage, you have heavy armor. You're probably going to want to use a one-handed weapon with your block. You can repair it, doesn't matter. Restoration is a great way to augment your skills. It is Fortify Attribute, Fortify Skill. You'll pretty quickly get Hearth Heal and be able to cast that, which will heal you up to full. You're basically just a tank. Heavy armor and medium armor, you can mix and match them. Agility and Strength, he's all about hitting enemies and dealing high damage. Alchemy is a great way to top it off. Alchemy is super powerful, kind of broken levels of powerful. And so this is going to end up in the A tier. You could reasonably claim this is S tier, but I'm going to put it in the A tier because maybe below the Battlemage. I don't want to nitpick each one and find their strengths and weaknesses to decide which one's better. These two are about the same. Battlemage and Crusader, kind of the same idea. What flavor do you want? The Battlemage is more aggressive, where the Crusader uses block and restoration to be more defensive. He's like a paladin. So it's a paladin versus a psychopath trying to chop your head off. Next, we have a healer. Now, aesthetically, I don't quite understand what they're going for here. A healer in an Elder Scrolls game, it works, but it doesn't work the same as it would in like an MMO or a party game. A cleric in Baldur's Gate makes sense because he heals the rest of the party. They have utility like aid and other ways to buff and bless their allies to improve their combat utility. Where in Morrowind, restoration is about buffing yourself to kill things faster with your other skills. So it's augmenting yourself. So when we look at this, yes, we have restoration and alteration to kind of augment ourselves, but our main primary weapon skill is hand to hand. Like, sure, you can use blunt weapon, but as a minor skill, it's not actually that useful. So if we look at blunt weapon as a minor skill, unless your race is buffing your blunt weapon, which is not a lot of races that do that, you're only going to start with 15 skill. A healer is a magic specialization, so they're not going to get that +5. They only have 15, assuming you have 40 agility and 40 luck. At maximum fatigue, your chance to hit is going to start out against like a normal weak low level enemy at 18.75%, meaning you're going to hit less than 1 out of 5 times, and it's going to take forever to level up because you need to swing so much just to hit anything and to kill them. And typically at that very early game when you run out of fatigue, well, if I get to 0 fatigue here and hit enter, that percent to hit goes to 5%. I'm just going to miss again and again and again and again and again. It's a total pain. Choosing something as a major skill makes a much bigger difference. I mean, at 0 fatigue, this is a 20% chance to hit, and if I max out my fatigue, it's a 43. You add in maybe a conjured weapon that fortifies your skill by +10, and you're hitting every other attack. It's not so bad. Even no fatigue, 1 out of 4, it's much better than a 5% chance to hit. So picking something as a minor skill, you're going to have to get it up a little bit with trainers or just some really lame, boring grinding. It's just not going to be very useful at that very early game, which can be kind of challenging. Combined with no medium or heavy armor proficiency, which are the endurance skills, you're going to have to be using trainers to level those if you want to gain any endurance. You have 6 magic skills, but you don't have conjuration, you don't have enchant, and you don't have destruction. It just feels like you're missing out. Yes, there's a lot of utility, there's a lot of things you can do with this character, but combat's just going to be kind of a pain. And combat is a huge part of Morrowind. You'll actually have to be healing yourself for casting some kind of shield all the time. There's just not a great way to kill people. Because of that, I'm going to put this in D tier. Healers are also, again, like I said, just conceptually, they're nonsensical in a power fantasy game. And some people say, oh, Morrowind's not a power fantasy in the way Skyrim is. I totally disagree. Every time I play Morrowind, my favorite part is flying around, blowing things up with fireballs, becoming just more powerful than the living gods. And I think as a healer, yeah, you can get there. It's just a pain. I don't want to RP as some guy going around healing people. Next, we got the second kind of paladin-like class. We have the Knight. So many classes have Speechcraft as a major, it's actually kind of ridiculous. We have 2 weapon skills here as majors, which is fine. You can pick either Longblade or Axe. We have block and heavy armor. It's that stereotypical knight. Instead of endurance, though, they're picking personality, which, fine, it's not the worst thing. It'll actually Gold will be kind of easy to come by at the beginning because you have Mercantile and Personality. You have Speechcraft as a major. Maybe you're able to bribe some people or admire them into actually liking you. Medium Armor and Heavy Armor combined. You probably use a Spear Trainer at the beginning to help get your Endurance +5s at the beginning. This is functional. Not really my favorite. It kind of feels just like a Warrior or Barbarian, but then you throw in Restoration and Enchant as minor skills. Speechcraft and Mercantile, like, yeah, I get it makes sense. They're trying to be talkative to people. I get what they're going for aesthetically. But gameplay wise, there's just a lot of waste. I wish there was only 1 weapon skill in the major. Armor is kind of boring. Speechcraft's kind of boring, unless you're using a mod. And Enchant, while Enchant is truly an amazing skill, it's actually such a pain to level. I don't think I would ever want to really put it as a major or minor. You could, you don't need to at all. It's not actually. Enchant is really a choice. Do I want to break the game by going to the trainer and leveling Enchant, or do I not want to? You pick one. And it doesn't matter if it's a major, minor, specialization, or miscellaneous. That's just totally up to you. It's either very easy to break the game with it, or you kind of don't. You choose not to, and then you don't really use it much. Every Elder Scrolls game that's had enchanting is it's just been so game breaking. From Daggerfall, Morrowind, and Skyrim. The one that's the least game breaking is Oblivion, and it's still pretty much game breaking. It's not even a skill in Oblivion. All that said, I think the Knight is reasonably B or C tier. You could argue either way. Because I already have 3 in the C tier, I'm going to throw him in the low B tier. But he's not amazing. He's not bad, though. Next, we have the Mage. High Elf, Atronach, or Breton Apprentice, Mage. I love the Mage. So awesome, so much fun. There is the weakness of Mysticism, Destruction, Alteration, and Restoration are all 4 willpower skills. You're not getting +5 to willpower. Enchant, Alchemy, Conjuration, and oh, Security's not on here. So you could use Security to get Intelligence. So that's not so bad. And the fact is, if between these 4 skills that are all in your majors get 5 skill ups, then you will get a +3 to willpower. It's a favorite attribute. You'll get a +10 to willpower. It won't be that hard to get it to 100, but it could be a little annoying if you like that efficient leveling. It's also disappointing that Conjuration is a minor, like really, and Unarmored your only armor. You could have Unarmored and Light Armor. Short Blade could be a major. There's a lot of things you'd want to move around here, but if you want to just lean in heavy magic user and nothing else, you don't care about anything else, the Mage works. It's just, there's so many things I would want to move around. It's kind of like a disappointing version of a Mage. Like if I want to play a Mage, Illusion's going to minor skill. Alteration's going to minor, maybe being taken off. Same with Mysticism, where whatever weapon skill I pick is going to major. Conjuration, definitely going to major. Conjuration is so insanely powerful. Seriously, do not underestimate summons and bound weapons. In all the other games, you can only have 1 summon. In Morrowind, you can have unlimited summons. It's just limited by your skill, by your magicka, by how many spells you can cast. You can even have 1 spell that makes 8 minions at once. There is no limit to this in Morrowind. So because of the potential, the missed potential, I'm going to put Mage at B. It's like really put Conjuration as major. It's your best Mage skill. Probably the best, honestly. Yes, you have Alchemy and Enchant as minors. So this can just break the game and you can become absurdly powerful. Kind of like anyone. And I also think very early game, you're kind of going to have a bit of a hard time. That Dark Elf Assassin's going to come up from the Dark Brotherhood, and it's not going to just be a cakewalk. You'll have to hopefully have bought a frost spell to deal damage. You're not going to have a lot of armor. He's going to hit you pretty easily. You're not going to be able to just use your bound dagger if you even bought that spell. It's going to be a bit tricky unless you really know what you're doing. So if you really know what you're doing, it doesn't matter. But just because of that, it's not quite as high as it could be. Monk, your major skill, hand to hand. Awesome. So you have Marksman and Blunt Weapon as minor skills. I already kind of showed you how minor skills don't really work as well as major skills for weapon skills. They're going to level slower too. And weapon skills are one of the things that you usually don't rely on a trainer. You use them enough in Morrowind, just running around killing things, that they level naturally pretty quick. If they line up with your major skill and your specialization, they level pretty fast. Every class should have a major skill that lines up with your specialization that is a weapon. Hand to hand is the worst one. I seriously, I've shown a video where I punch a mud crab. Here, let's watch it. Okay, just to show you, I picked an Imperial, which has a hand-to-hand bonus, the Monk class, and the Lover Birth Sign to give me that 25 bonus agility. Creatures typically have 400 or 500 fatigue, so this Mud Crab has 400 fatigue. Okay, that took a little bit. Now let's try it on the Dark Brotherhood Assassin. Okay, that sucks. I know people say that you can beat any enemy one-on-one with hand-to-hand, and sure, that's true, but if that's your main way of dealing damage, your primary way of dealing damage, every fight is going to take way too long. It's so annoying, it's such a pain in the ass. I would never, ever, ever have hand-to-hand as my major primary way of dealing damage. This is D tier, and honestly, this is the only one I would consider maybe F tier. It's just so bad. Don't play a monk. Just don't do it unless you hate yourself. Hand-to-hand is objectively ass in Morrowind. What a pain in the ass. Unless you select that strength scales it with damage in that open MW setting, then that's fine. But if you're doing that, you already know enough about this game. You don't really need this tier list, and you can just make that choice on your own without me. Okay, next we have the Nightblade, the emo kid of the classes. Okay, kind of a cool spread. You have Destruction, Shortblade, and Marksman for dealing damage. Unarmored and Light Armor are your armor. Again, Unarmored is just so bad. It's so depressing. Mysticism and Illusion as major skills seems kind of overkill. Minor skills are both pretty good choices, but as majors, they're just not that useful. And if you're able to cast a spell once, then that's all you need. For example, with Recall from Mysticism, if I'm away from town and I need to cast Recall, I will fail the spell a few times and keep resting until I can actually get a successful cast. Where Destruction, you're probably using in combat, you're trying to kill an enemy with it. If it fails a few times until you run out of magicka, that's a pain in the ass. And that one's the minor skill. So those are kind of backwards. Security as a minor skill is fine. It'll make lockpicking a little bit nicer, but Alteration is a major skill. When Alteration is a major skill, you're able to pretty easily get higher level open spells, especially as that Alteration gains a few levels. By the time Alteration is at 60 skill and you have 60 willpower, you have a 100% chance to cast this one 100 open spell, or sorry, a 95% chance. Obviously, you would need the magicka. You need 60 magicka to be able to do that, but that's way better than security ever would be. Why would you put points into security? You can use telekinesis to pop traps too, so this is kind of a waste as well. Things just aren't quite where they should be. Just to show you really quick, with 60 security skill, you are not opening a 100 level lock. And because of that, the Nightblade's going to go into C tier. They're pretty cool. I like Nightblade. I could move them up to B just because I like them so much, but I do want to keep this a little more grounded in what the game is, and not just my opinion. Willpower and speed aren't amazing either as your attribute choices. I mean, I do like picking speed, but you could be picking endurance for that big health boost. Strength is really nice for the extra carry weight. Picking strength is 50 carry weight, and you're going to do more damage, where 10 more speed just isn't that much noticeable movement speed. Okay, next we have the Pilgrim for roleplay reasons. I'm going to start them out in D tier, and we're going to look at them next to see if they're actually pretty good. I think this is the lamest thing ever. You're literally just walking around, and look at the art. He's walking around looking at a book. Don't ever pick Pilgrim unless you're lame. Okay, let's actually look at what they do. Stealth, personality, and endurance. Endurance is good. Their major skills include both speechcraft and mercantile. Their weapon skills are marksman, hand-to-hand, and short blade. I think those are the three worst ones. At least you have one as a major skill. That's not the worst thing. You can be an archer. Your only armor skill is the worst one, medium armor, so there's no light armor or heavy armor. Restoration's great, illusion and alchemy as minors is good, block as a minor is good. So there's some things going that are good here, but it's like you're going to be a stealth archer without sneak as even a minor skill, or you're just going to be an archer, but you're wearing medium armor. You're not going to move fast, you don't have a ton of carry weight. This mixture of skills is just, again, nonsensical in my opinion. What's your birth sign going to be? Are you going to pick a mage or an apprentice to be able to cast high-level restoration spells? Are you going to pick the warrior to make sure you hit actually with these stupid skills? I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something with the Pilgrim. Let me know in the comments, but you could argue it's C tier, but I'm going to leave it in D tier because I don't really like the Pilgrim. Okay, Rogue is kind of funny. Combat specialization, but 4 of their 5 major skills are stealth. They have short blade, axe, hand-to-hand, and long blade. That is 4 weapon skills. 3 of them within their major. Light armor and medium armor I think are a good mix for having 2 different armor skills. That's not a bad idea because sometimes you find different good items and you like to mix and match them. I think that's actually a really good split too, where light armor is the major and medium is the minor. And having those minor skills as combat combined with your specialization will actually make them level decently enough. And you could just use an axe, but then you're picking personality and speed. It's like, if you're trying to be this warrior, can we pick strength? Can we please just pick strength? 50 carry weight, more damage. You're going to want more health from endurance. Trying to mix and match this personality with combat. It's like a knight, but not quite as good, I think. A rogue is cool and can be a very functional warrior, so they're going to be high C tier, but there's just so much waste there. There's so many weapon skills. It's too many. I'm going to put him in the C tier. Scout, I think he's sniffing a flower because, whatever. I like the attributes, speed and endurance. Finally, we could pick at least one good one to combine with speed, not speed and personality. Sneak, I just hate the way Sneak functions in Morrowind. It's nonsensical. Telekinesis pretty much makes it really bad. I do like the mix of Longblade as the major skill, Marksman as the minor skill. It's got 3 armor skills, which is a bit overkill. Like, unarmored is definitely a waste. Just combine light and medium, though I think they should be flipped. Athletics and block can be nice. Having speed with athletics as a major, a scout is going to move quick. If you pick a red guard or an orc, this could actually be a really good one. With that Longblade as a major and combat as your specialization, a red guard would start with 50 Longblade skill. However, with no conjuration, it'd be difficult to cast that bound longsword, which is so powerful, but it's not required. And you have alchemy and alteration as minors, which I think are a good spot for that. I'm going to put the scout in the B tier because there's a lot of useful things there, probably above the barbarian. It just could definitely be optimized quite a bit. 3 armor skills is definitely overkill. I would never pick more than 2. 1 is kind of ideal if you're trying to make the most powerful character, but 2 can be kind of nice for convenience, where it's like, all right, I'm going to have light armor and medium armor. That way I'm not really worried about which ones I'm wearing, or I'm not going to feel stupid for only having 5 light armor skill and wearing light armor pieces. Sorcerer. We have Enchant, Conjuration, Mysticism, Destruction, and Alteration. I love the mix of magic, intelligence, endurance. Those are really great attributes and a good specialization. 2 armor skills. So the idea is you are tanky. You have Short Blade and Marksman to back you up when you run out of magicka. Illusion's great as a minor skill. You don't have Restoration. You don't have Security. So that means you have off skills to level your willpower and intelligence. And Conjuration's finally a major skill, which is great. You can summon bound weapons like a bound bow or a bound dagger to kill people. You even start with bound dagger to help with that Short Blade. I really like the Sorcerer. I also think aesthetically they're cool. It's like a mage in heavy armor. You can wear medium armor too. They're tanky, they're going to stay alive, and they have a little backup from their short blade and their bow to do some damage. I'm going to put them in A tier. Honestly, so far, the Sorcerer is my favorite. I know I'm biased towards Spellblades, I always have been, but in Morrowind, combat is a lot more powerful and viable than it is in Oblivion. Like, you don't actually need magic to kill everything. You can just get a weapon, but having Conjuration early game, which you get from picking it as a major skill, is so useful to just create the highest level of weapon in the game. A bound axe at max swing does 80 damage. With 100 strength, that's 120 damage. And it gives you a plus 10% chance to hit because of the automatic enchantment on it. 120 damage at level 1 is insane. Well, now, you're not going to have 100 strength unless you picked an Orc or a Red Guard, but you could pick an Orc or a Red Guard and use that greater power. And that will carry you through such a large portion of the game until you get to that mid or late game where you have really crazy powerful enchanted items, crazy magic skills, and the games just become a total joke. And because of that, it's like, well, if I can make the whole hard part of the game easy, the beginning and the middle, with just one skill, Conjuration, everything else is just about making my life feel good. Having some survivability is good, having some illusion is good, mysticism and alteration and enchant are all really good utility there as well. And starting with endurance, you actually have some health. All of that just kind of works together to make a viable and powerful build. Okay, next we have the Spellsword. This is the best in Oblivion, so maybe it'll be S tier. I'll put it here for now and we'll check and then find out if we have to move it. Magic, willpower, endurance, those are all useful, valuable attributes. Longblade and the Mage is great. Axe and Blunt as minors just seems like a waste. I would not pick those at all. Alchemy and Enchant are great minor skills. Your Armor skill as a minor skill, Medium as a minor is a little weird. You don't need Block and Alteration as majors, so some of this stuff I would move around, and there's no Conjuration, so I really don't want to put it in S tier. With that said, it's very good, but we are going to have to go back to that tier list and bring them back down to A tier. I think actually I like the Sorcerer more than the Spellsword. The Spellsword's really good, but no Conjuration, no Mysticism, no Illusion of any kind, and some wasted weapon skills, and the armor as a minor skill, and it's only medium. There's no light or heavy. I would think that they would want medium and heavy armor. Blunt and axe are total waste, so it's like you have a couple totally wasted skill slots, and then you're missing things that you would want to pick. And because of that, it's just going to be A tier. It's good. Yeah, you can cast spells to kill people and then kill them with your long blade. Enchant and Alchemy will supplement and do anything you need them to do, and you'll just win. Restoration's a great support skill as well. Okay, now we have the Thief. Wow, stealth, speed, agility, good. Finally, a Thief character that doesn't pick personality, speechcraft, and mercantile as their major skills. I see mercantile over there as a minor, same with speechcraft, which is fine. They're beneficial. Hand-to-hand sucks, but again, it's a minor, so it's not really hurting you. And the combat skill they picked is athletics. They're going to move fast, they're going to jump far, run fast. You have light armor and short blade as your main way of dealing damage. Your minor skill is marksman to shoot people, which will help. This actually works. This is, if you want to play a stealth archer, this would be totally 100% viable and fun. Finally, a thief specialization thing. Actually, everything just functions and works together, and there's not like ridiculous, stupid choices. Like if they put light armor and short blade and minor to get speechcraft and mercantile as majors, that would just be dumb. So all this together, hand-to-hand can be a support skill too. I think it's terrible. I don't like it, but all of this works good. The support skills, mercantile and speechcraft, marksman and hand-to-hand, are in minor skills. The skills that you actually functionally want to be using, security, sneak, light armor, and short blade, are majors. Acrobatics could be a minor as well, but honestly, it helps movement so much. Having it as a major will just make you move really fast at the start and mid-game. With that, I'm going to put Thief as an A tier, just because it's great at what it does. I don't actually like that playstyle, but it's really good if you want to play that stealth archer playstyle. Be, some lame wood elf or something. Next we have the warrior, and this is the opposite problem of the thief, it looks like. Yes, combat strength and endurance, great combo. And the major skills all function great together. Long blade, medium, heavy armor, athletics, and block. There you go, that's the build. But all 5 minor skills are a waste. Armor, spear, marksman, axe, and blunt. I guess marksman can function to help, but there's so many extra wasted weapon skills there that could be magic skills, that could be utility, that could be mercantile or something that'll help you actually, acrobatics, whatever. But there's just 4 wasted skills right there. So while this functions decently as a warrior, I'm going to have to put it in B tier. I'd say low B tier. It's good. You'll do just fine as a warrior just because of this 5, this stack right here is great, but it could be so much more, and that just makes it hurt. The Witch Hunter, the Arcane Archer, Conjuration, Enchant, Alchemy, Light Armor, and Marksman. Light Armor, Marksman, and Conjuration, those 3 alone makes the Witch Hunter phenomenal. Add Sneak and Mysticism as great ways to boost your build with minor skills. Intelligence and Agility, you can bound a bow, you'll be able to cast that spell. I think this is the perfect Orc Apprentice. You can use bound weapons with Berserk to just annihilate all of your enemies. Make any potions you need. You'll move really fast as an orc. Unarmored and light armor are your armor skills, so you're not going to be really weighed down, and you'll just run around and crush everybody with your marksman or your blunt weapon. Honestly, because the blunt will work if you're using a conjured weapon, and if you're using Berserk at the very, very early game, you'll be able to get some blunt levels up, and by the time it's at like 30, it'll be good enough. Enchant and Alchemy at the end will obviously carry you. I think this Witch Hunter, it could very reasonably be B, but I'm going to put it in A. I like the Witch Hunter. I think he's cool. And I don't know why I made an S tier. I thought maybe when I started this video that I might make a character as an S tier, but I think really that's just going to be a custom class. Even the ones with decent cohesion, there's always like one thing that just stands out as really stupid and wasteful. And when you're making a custom class, you're going to pick the things you want. If you want to move fast, you're going to pick acrobatics and athletics and speed. And you can just pick everything you want. I think Conjuration is so powerful that's just silly not to pick it for any build. Plus, your favorite attributes are going to match the ones that you don't really like to power level, so they'll start 10 higher. He's got a lot of choices with the custom class, but here we go. This is my ranking. Anything in A tier I think is great. B tier is okay, C tier is bad, and D tier is ugly. Honestly, C and D tier are kind of interchangeable, but, you know, my personal preference moved them down if I thought they're kind of lame for RP purposes. All right, so I got